No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve Postgame Show, presented by Play Now, the official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets, starts now.
One last time before Christmas 2025 comes and goes, we will say good evening, Winnipeg, good evening, Manitoba, and for all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show, along with my good friend, Mr. Ezra Ginsburg. I am your host, Drew Mandel, here to discuss what certainly seemed like it was going to be a regulation time loss for the Winnipeg Jets. But to their credit, they do battle back and they get 1 point in Utah. That certainly didn't seem likely given the start to this game and really how most of the game was unfolding. But in the spirit of the holiday season and generosity and everything else, the Jets do get that 1 point. They certainly need more than 1 point moving forward. But I'll take the good tone with things to at least start tonight's post-game show and give the Jets kudos for their battle, their heart, their fight to come back in the game after being down 3-0. Mr. Ginsburg, good to see you on this Sunday night. I hope all is well with you and yours.
Yeah, absolutely. We took my kids to the Moose game this afternoon. The Moose game, because Dave M is persona non grata, I decided to go to the Moose game and represent Illegal Curve. So the Moose came out with a big 4-1 win over Rockford. So that was fun. And yeah, I mean, like you said, Drew, we're going to start with the positive because it's that time of year. I mean, obviously you love the fact that the Jets erase a 3-goal deficit, but they're unable to get the extra point, right? So like the loser point is exactly that in this case. And we talked about the importance of tonight's game because you lost the 2 previous games, because they were both against Central Division opponents. We know the Jets have not been good against the Central Division this year. If you want to look at the negative, again, the first period, it's
unconscionable almost.
The thing is, we talked about it on yesterday morning show. The first period was a problem even when the Jets were winning at the beginning of the season. When they were going 9-3 in their first 12 games, the starts were a problem, and they've continued to be a problem. So, yeah, I mean, you could easily argue. I would argue the Jets were the better team in the second and third periods, but I mean, they were playing from behind, down 3 goals. So, I mean, that's not something the Jets are comfortable with. We know the record is, off the top of my head, I know I don't have it exactly, but the record when the Jets are trailing after 1 is not good. I think they have 1 win or 2 wins when they're trailing after 1 period. So we know the importance of scoring the first goal, but it's just, again, you know, close, but not close enough, right? Like that's really the story of the Jets season. So yes, I mean, when you look back at this game, you're going to say, you know, Jets ended up getting 1 point and they easily could have had none. But you didn't get that extra point. And I mean, we'll break that goal down in the Play Now game recap, but you know, Adam Lowry gets burned, and that's just uncharacteristic of Adam Lowry. And I thought Lowry was really good tonight, Drew. He was on during the first intermission, and he admitted that the team did not, himself included, the team did not play well to start this game. But I thought in the second and third periods, that was vintage Lowry, battling, going to the net, basically doing whatever he needed to do to help his team win. But when you look at this road trip as a totality, it's like you've been saying, it's not good enough. They desperately need the points. Look, Colorado won again tonight. Dallas is leading. Those teams are so far ahead that's basically an afterthought. I mean, they're most likely not going to catch Minnesota for third either, but just getting 1 point on a 3-game road trip against Central Division opponents at this point in the season, when you're 5 points out of a playoff spot, it's just not going to cut it.
No, you're absolutely right. There's no question about everything you've said, that the 1 point tonight, it makes you probably feel a little bit better than losing in regulation, but feeling good is not sufficient for this team. It's simply a function of they need to perform better and get better results, and better results for this team means a clean 2 points. Now, that certainly didn't happen tonight, but to your point though, Ezzy, I mean, you're down 3-0. There's no desperation. It befuddles me to try and understand why the desperation for the Winnipeg Jets only kicks in when you're down 2 goals or you're down 3 goals. That part just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. That is just one of the most damning aspects of what has been an absolutely horrendous first 3 months to the season for the Winnipeg Jets, is that this team has no, everyone knows where they are in the standings. Everyone knows that they should be more desperate. It's not just us that know that. The players themselves know how poor they've been playing. And they come out and you give up 2 goals in that first period for the second straight night. And it's one thing to give up 2 goals against the Colorado Avalanche. The Utah Mammoth are, an up and coming hockey team, but nobody is going to confuse the Utah Mammoth with a Stanley Cup contender for this year. At best, they are also a fringe playoff team, one of the, in that mushy middle of the Central Division, right where the Winnipeg Jets are. And the Jets just have no desperation to their game. They have no, the give a damn factor really doesn't seem to kick in for the Jets until later in the game, until it's already almost, you're pushing this boulder up the hill nonstop. In the last 6 weeks since the struggles for the Jets started, 7 weeks, has there been more than 1 or 2 games that have been, quote unquote, I would say, easy for the Winnipeg Jets? Last Saturday against Washington was probably the only one of recent memory that's been an easy victory for the Winnipeg Jets. But so many of the wounds, so many of the reasons why they're not easy wins, or the Jets aren't being able to play their game or their style of game, that they allegedly want to play, is because you're chasing the game constantly.
Yeah.
It's exhausting to chase the game constantly.
And getting back to your point, Drew, about how they came out, 4 shots on net in the first period, 9 shot attempts.
Yeah.
That's all they came up with in the first period was 9 shot attempts and 4 shots on net. And it's just not good enough. And we've said it time and time again, and we've speculated and we've pontificated. And at this point, like, to me, it's just, this is on the players, these starts. It's not the coaching staff. I really don't believe like that you can say that the coaching staff doesn't have these guys ready to go. To me, this is on the players. When you're desperate for these 2 points, and like you said, desperate for a clean 2 points, because Utah is one of those other teams that you're battling with. I think Utah right now is, or they were tied with San Jose for the last wild card spot. But the point is that the Jets and the Mammoth, they're competing for a wild card spot in the Western Conference. They're not competing for a top 2 spot or a top 3 spot. They're competing for a wild card spot. And that's the type of effort they came out with the first period, and were only able to muster up 4 shots on net. So it's just completely unacceptable. But having said that, a couple Kyle Connor goals, and the Jets got right back in it and tied the game up, right? Obviously, Morgan Barron scored the tying goal, but you know what I mean. Connor scored the first 2 goals.
Sure, but where is that? Why isn't that there at the start? That's the problem that I have, and that's
I don't know the answer to that, Drew.
I know you don't. It's a rhetorical question.
I know it's rhetorical, but I've thought about it so many times, and I don't know anymore. Can we just say the Jets are a bad first period team? Like, is it as simple as that? Or
well, but that's bull. I mean, there's no reason why they have to be a bad first period team. It's not like anybody who says, oh, they're a bad first period team. Well, that's that's a cop out, to be perfectly honest. Because why are you a bad first period team but you're a good third period team? Is it that you like playing from behind? I don't think anybody in this league likes playing from behind. I don't think anybody in this league is like, okay, we're going to spot the opponent, 2 or 3 goals, because that's really when we're going to turn it on. That's when we really get the juice flowing.
Well, especially when you're the Jets and on most nights you're scoring 1 or 2 goals.
Right. It's not like you're an offensive dynamo or anything. It's not like you're the Edmonton Oilers or, the Colorado Avalanche, who can put 6, 7, 8, 9 pucks past the goaltender.
Hey, Drew, at least tonight a forward scored a 5-on-5 goal. Kyle Connor, come on down.
Kyle Connor. Yeah. And Morgan Barron, for that matter. They got 2 5-on-5 goals from forwards. Well, wonders never cease. But it's funny, I noticed that on the broadcast, Ezzy, that it was only that Connor and that both Dan and Kevin addressed that in the third period, when it was yet another period where the Jets hadn't, until
I think Dan and Kevin were watching the Illegal Curve hockey show yesterday morning.
I think you're probably right. But it was almost going back to the Washington game. So it was almost 3 complete games plus 2 periods before the Winnipeg Jets were able to get a 5-on-5 goal from a forward. And then they got 2 in a very short period of time, which is nice for the players and nice for the team. But again, it's just, there's a lot of soul searching that needs to be done by this Winnipeg Jets team as they all depart. So they're gonna fly back to Winnipeg. They're gonna land in Winnipeg, and then they're all gonna go their separate ways for the 4 or 5 days. They're off starting tomorrow. By the way, the Jets get a lot more days off than some of the other teams in the NHL. It's not like the whole league is going to shut down after tonight and there's still games all the way up until Tuesday. So the Jets are fortunate that they get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then they come back to play on Saturday. A lot of teams only get 2 or 3 days off. The Jets are fortunate that they get this, most of a week off before they have to face the Minnesota Wild. But all these players need to go their separate ways or go do whatever they do with their families to celebrate the holiday season. I don't begrudge any of them for that. Everyone deserves to spend quality time with their loved ones this time of year. But there also needs to be some introspective soul searching done by these players if they don't want the rest of the season to be completely for naught. I mean, that's the truth of the matter is, the coach has been saying what the coach has been saying. I'm sure the leadership is saying all the right things in the dressing room. The players themselves are saying all the right things. But now it's incumbent on all those players to get away from it for a bit, take the totality of this disappointing 34, 35 games and say, how do we want the next 45 to be? Do we want the next 45 to be this disappointing? Do we want the next 45 to be more Winnipeg Jets hockey-like? Now, can they do that? That's a separate issue entirely. I think there's a lot of justifiable questions or justifiable comments that they cannot play Winnipeg Jets hockey because of the way the roster's been constructed. And I have time for that argument. But the players themselves know that they can start better. They can start games off in a stronger manner. They can not be down 2 or 3 goals almost night in and night out. They can just have a higher give a damn factor to start a game, whether or not that ultimately translates into wins, whether or not that ultimately translates into a playoff spot. Time will tell about that front. But too many nights the Jets have been cheating the game, cheating their opposition, and just not putting enough respect on the Winnipeg Jets jersey that we hadn't seen from them for so many seasons in a row at this point.
I think it's a fair point, Drew. And look at the first period, right? Like if you were just 15, 20% better in the first period, maybe this is a 2-1 game earlier as opposed to being a 3-0 game, right? Like I'm just saying, like if you were even like half decent, that first period was just I mean, it was an awful period overall. It wasn't like Utah was doing anything crazy either. It was really bad for the Jets.
Yeah.
And like you said, we've talked about this week after week, month after month. These starts have to be better, or the Jets don't put together a full 60-minute effort. And it's 1 good period, or 2 good periods, 1 bad period, or 2 bad periods, 1 good period. Mm-hmm. And you're right. This is a veteran team. And, you mentioned the 6-day break coming up here. It looked like, at least to me, it looked like in the first period, it was a team that almost was playing just to get to the break.
There's no
look at it, just like disinterested. And this is not the first time we've seen an effort like this. And that's why I think it's so concerning if you're a Jets fan. I've said this, I'm on the record of saying this. I still think the Jets can make the playoffs. I don't know if they will. I'm just saying that I think they still can. I mean, you can't tell me like the San Jose Sharks, the Utah Mammoth, the St. Louis Blues, like these are teams that, at the beginning of the year, everybody had the Jets way above these teams in the standings. Well, here we are at the end of December, or, close to the end of December. And no, it's the end of December. It's December 21st. I can say that. Yep. Happy winter solstice, by the way, Drew.
That's right. And second last night of Hanukkah.
Yeah. No, last night.
Tonight's the 8th night. You're right. I got my numbers confused.
I was going to say, right. What's the? I mean, unless we're doing 9 nights,
I'm a little out of sorts. I got to tell you.
I know. You've been
lots
traveling,
of games, lots of traveling, everything else.
No, it's great. I mean, I just love how we get 8 nights. It's fantastic. I don't want it to end. I want it to keep going. But
you can still light candles if you want at home. If you want to keep lighting some candles, go right ahead.
Yeah, you can always light candles. I mean,
I know I'm a candle guy. Are you a candle guy?
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm a I don't have a bubble bath, and I don't burn scented candles.
Right.
In fact, I wouldn't even know where to go buy a candle, to be honest with you.
The candle store. There's a candle store.
Yeah, or in the Candle District.
Well,
right?
I believe there's a candle store at the Forks. I don't know what the.
Okay.
I think, yeah, in fact, if they were a sponsor, I'd give them a shout out. But they're not. But at the Forks, I think you can get some candles.
Candles are more something I would get like a woman in my life. Like that's more something I wouldn't go like by
Don't
myself.
Underestimate. Hey, I'll admit this. There's been a night or two where sometimes you're at home. It's dark. It's cold out. It's sometimes nice to have a little flickering light going on in the living room while you're kicking back and watching TV. It's not a man thing. It's not a woman thing. It's just a nice vibe sort of thing.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, I don't know what kind of seances you're having at your house, Drew, but
I'm not trying to summon the dead. I'm not doing anything eerie. I'm not using a Ouija board. I'm just like, sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of a candle going on in the house to get a little bit of a crackle going. If that candle hits the wick at the right place at the right time, it's a little bit nice there, Mr. Ginsburg. Don't overlook this as an option for you moving forward.
Poor Desert Lab 22 for those listening on the podcast. I can't unsee that in my mind. Ezzy in a bubble bath with candles. Yeah, nobody wants to see that. It's like a grizzly bear just soaping himself up and hopefully not putting the candle out. But we got to this talking about Hanukkah candles. I like to light Hanukkah candles, Drew. Nothing else. But yeah, it's been I don't know where we were going with that. Maybe we should just go to the Play Now game recap.
I think that's probably good advice at this point in time. We'll do that. We'll go to the Play Now game recap.
The Play Now game recap.
Totally derailed the show. That's just, I mean, that was impressive.
And it was you, Drew. It's usually me doing it.
Again, it's the last game before the break. I'm trying to be in the spirit of positivity a little bit. And yes, there was an opportunity there to derail the show, and I absolutely took it. And I apologize for those that don't like our sort of side tracks every now and then that we go on every now and then, by which I mean every single show. But yeah, I was the one who took us off the track there. So I do apologize for that. But I will not apologize for reminding everybody that Play Now is the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets and is Manitoba's local legal and secure gambling site. Sign up for Play Now and get a $20 lottery welcome bonus. Check them out online, playnow.com. Big thank you to our friends at Play Now for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show.
Also, shout out to S.A. Dachevsky.
Oh, sorry, I took it off the screen there.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I've got it
joining
back.
us from Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah, that's Indonesia, right?
Malaysia.
Yeah.
We're huge in Malaysia.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just cool. I'll be honest.
He's been here before. He's just under a different name than YouTube changed the name, but he's a regular. So yes. So we do appreciate the support wherever you're tuning in, be it Kuala Lumpur, be it we have people that join us frequently from Singapore, wherever you might be joining us from. We do
Stacy from Erie, Pennsylvania.
We Illegal Curve does not respect borders. We cross all borders.
Your cousin Jeff Stern from Wisconsin.
He's not from Wisconsin. He's from Los Angeles. His daughter just goes to school in Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. We are right around the world. Yeah, I will get that. Sorry, I'm talking to Laura at the same time here, okay. So I'm multitasking at this.
Do whatever Laura says, Drew.
Yeah, it was about making sure I get the laundry out of the dryer after the show.
If she needs you to go, I'll do the show by myself.
It's okay. Good. She doesn't need me to go. I can assure you, she has no need. She doesn't need me that badly right now. It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock Eastern time here, so she's quite okay. In any event, yes, this is the Play Now game recap, and again, that first period is just an abysmal first period for the Winnipeg Jets. There's no other way to describe it. Is just abysmal. You cannot start the game that way. The Jets looked like they were skating in quicksand, and they could not complete a pass if their lives depended on it. Ezzy.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I would sum up the first period. I mean, we talked about it: 9 shot attempts, 4 shots. None of those were high danger. I mean, I could check natural stat trick. Let's see if any of those were high danger. None of them were high danger. No. Not surprising. A very low event period overall, but just the thing that was the most concerning is just like we talk about all of the fundamentals in hockey, and they just weren't there. Like this was just going through the motions. There was no pressure. There was really lack of a forecheck. They're just
You take a
there just
penalty
wasn't
40. You take a penalty 45 seconds into the game. Now it didn't result in a goal, but you're immediately on your heels when things like that happen. It doesn't allow you to gain any jump to the game, get any start, get any flow to your game when Neil Pionk takes a tripping penalty 45 seconds into the game. I mean, you know what almost was most concerning to me about that first period, and we'll get it to the Utah goals because they were both just horrendous plays by the Winnipeg Jets is the only way you can describe it. But most concerning to me isn't the two goals, although those are bad. Utah takes a penalty after they're up 2-0. Nick DeSimone interference penalty on Morgan Barron. It's about the 11:33 mark of that first period. Okay, you're down 2-0. Bad. You get a power play opportunity. Good. That power play opportunity was so lifeless.
Yes.
And so listless. And so just it wasn't even slow. It was just careless. I mean, you have this opportunity. You're down 2 goals. You're already trying to struggle your way through a game, and you get a power play opportunity, even if it doesn't necessarily result in a goal on the power play. You have to do something that makes you feel better about yourself.
You have to switch the momentum. You have to, or I should say, you have to build some momentum because, like we've been talking about, you started off with the Neil Pionk tripping penalty. You haven't played very well. You're down a couple goals, and what you want out of your power play is just you want something to swing the momentum. I hate that word, but to swing, just to
feel
swing
better about yourself, to get yourself
Right.
back into the game, to get some life into you, to get some jump into you, to get some positivity so that you're like, okay, there's still 50 minutes left in this game. This power play, yeah, maybe we score, maybe we didn't score, but at the very least, we're now connected. We're now making some passes. We're now playing with some speed. And it just didn't look like they had any interest in doing that on the power play in that first period. I mean, that first period in a season of bad, because it's been a season of bad for the most part. In a season of bad, that first period might have been as bad as it gets. I mean, they were that terrible, the Winnipeg Jets were, in that first period.
Right. And what's it's not surprising at all. We already talked about that. The Jets have had a lot of bad first periods this year.
Yeah.
But what is disappointing about it is that this game was more important than other games in the calendar because, like, look, this season might come down to 1 or 2 points. It probably will. If the Jets end up finishing in one of the wild card spots, it's not like they're going to finish 10 points ahead of the team in front of them. That's not likely to happen. It's going to be close, right? So obviously we're not saying that, the Jets season is going to come down to this one lost point. But the stakes were so high tonight. There was a lot of pressure on the Jets to come out, follow up with the effort in Colorado and get 2 points in Utah. And that was the effort that they came out with in the first period. So I agree with you 100%. They obviously go down 2 goals.
Yeah.
But it was the way that they went down 2 goals and just didn't seem to have any life in their game at all.
None at all. Lawson Krause opens the scoring for Utah at the 5:20 mark of the first period. Dylan Guenther and Barrett Hayden get the assists on this one. And I mean, it's a fortuitous bounce off the end boards, no question about it. But at the same time, somebody's got to be aware of where Lawson Krause is on this play, that, the puck might come off of the end boards. Dylan Guenther with the shot that goes wide and ricochets off the end boards and back out the other side. Colin Miller's there, but he sort of isn't. He loses Guenther a little bit. Morgan Barron loses Krause a little bit. Morgan Barron also loses Krause a little bit. It's a good bounce. It's a good shot. But again, you want more attention to where your man is in the defensive zone on this play, by my estimation, Ezzy.
Yeah, well, you have all 5 Jets that are in the picture here, right? So, like, it's not a question of the Jets being out of position. I think it's just not being quick enough, and it is a lucky bounce because it's Logan Stanley who's the left side defenseman, like you mentioned. It's Colin Miller and Logan Stanley. Dylan Guenther takes the shot, and I believe Logan Stanley got a piece of it, or at the very least, he had an active stick, and he was trying to get a piece of it, and it goes wide. So right. It's not intentional by Dylan Guenther to do what he did. So no. It's obviously a very fortuitous bounce for Krause. And yeah, Colin Miller, the puck comes around, and Colin Miller he's just a second too late, or half of a second too late. And look, Lawson Krause has multiple 20-goal seasons. He's a sniper, and that's all it takes. And we've said this, game after game here. It seems like that's kind of been the downfall of this Jets team, is that it's just one step too slow, or one guy's just a little bit out of position, right? And then you watch it again, and like that wasn't that dangerous of a play.
No,
right? Like Logan Stanley's there, and like we talked about, the Jets had 5 players back there. They had the numbers. Miller's just a little bit slow to react to the bounce off the backboards.
That's just it. I mean, that's exactly right. It's not, they're just a little bit, they're on their heels, whereas the Utah Mammoth are on their toes there to jump on the opportunity. The 2-0 goal comes 4 minutes and 11 seconds later. JJ Peterka, his 14th of the year. He's been a real nice acquisition for Utah, getting him out of Buffalo. That's actually, honestly, that's a trade that's worked well for both teams, because Josh Doan and who they also trade. I think Kesselring also went to
Kesselring, I believe, is still injured, or if he's back, he was injured. Yeah, because when the Jets played the Sabres those 2 games in a week, they didn't have Kesselring in the lineup. I remember we talked to Marty Biron about Kesselring. But yes, I think that trade has benefited both teams. Obviously, Peterka is the best player, but Doan's got a bright career, and Kesselring's a good depth defenseman. Yeah,
so Peterka gets his 14th of the year, assist to Clayton Keller and Nick Schmaltz. And this is just Keystone Cops-esque kind of play by the Winnipeg Jets. They fail to get the puck out of their own zone. I mean, at least 2 opportunities. Kyle Connor had an opportunity to get the puck out. I think Morrissey had an opportunity to get the puck out. And the Jets are just, I mean, this is routine. This should be a routine breakout for the Winnipeg Jets. And passes are in skates. Pucks are bouncing off of sticks. There's just absolutely no cohesiveness to the team. And Utah basically just says, okay, fine. If you refuse to clear the puck out of your own zone, we'll eventually make you pay. I mean, and that's what they do to give themselves the 2-0 lead. At this point, relatively early still in the first period. You're barely not even at the halfway mark of the first period. It's just abysmal. I mean, that's the only word that really comes to mind when you watch back this Winnipeg Jets goal and you look at the play in its entirety. It's abysmal defensive zone coverage after you fail to clear, and the number of times that you fail to clear is just beyond comprehension, I would say.
Right, and the thing, Drew, that's the most unfortunate about this first period is you end up going down 2-0, and Utah hasn't really played that well. And like that to me is the sign of a struggling team. When you're not playing well, the opposing team's not playing well, they're still up 2-0 on you. Like that could have easily been a scoreless first period, as far as I'm concerned, with the lack of high danger chances. But you're right, there's an opportunity here. The Jets can clear it. Josh Morrissey falls down, so now he's in a position where he's not defending in front of the net. And it's a nice pass by Clayton Keller to JJ Peterka. But again, this is just Peterka beating out Dylan Sandberg in front of the net. That's all that is.
And it should never have come to that, because the Jets should have cleared it before that. I mean, you're right. Again, errors, multiple errors, and then being compounded by additional errors, which is a sign, to your point, and Scott O'Neill said it after the game against Colorado. He said that it's just a struggling team. It's just a struggling, fragile team. And you go see it, you know what a sign of fragility is? When it seems like every mistake you make ends up in the back of your net.
Exactly.
And you make those mistakes multiple times. It's one thing to learn from your mistakes. It's another thing to compound your mistakes and continue to make them over and over again. It's just inexcusable, especially for a veteran-laden team like this Winnipeg Jets team. 2-0 for the Mammoth after 20 minutes. And we Jets get a power play opportunity in that first period. They get 2 power play opportunities, for that matter, in the first period. They do nothing with either of them. Just take an opportunity to get back into the game, cut the lead from 2-0 to 2-1, something along those lines. Absolutely nothing of the sort happens. And then the Utah Mammoth make it 3-0. 3 minutes into the second period. Alex Kerfoot, he's just off of the IR. He's been injured all season. I think he's played 2 or 3 games. He gets his first of the season, assist to Sean Dursey and assist to Mikhail Sergachev. by the way, just pointing out for the record, both Dursey and Sergachev were acquired by trade by the Utah Mammoth. So trades are possible where you can use them to improve your roster. I know that's breaking news for many of you watching on the show, but it is something that a general manager can do if he sees flaws with this roster that he wants to use to
Didn't
improve
they acquire
his team.
John Marino by trade too?
Yeah, Marino came out. I think Marino came by a trade as well. Did he?
From
was it not
Pittsburgh?
Marino, Dursey,
Devils.
was it not Marino, Dursey, and Sergachev all in the offseason 2 off seasons ago?
Yeah, Utah. Let's check this out. Utah acquires John Marino. I'm pretty sure it was a trade. They acquired him from the Devils.
Yeah.
For a 2024 second rounder and Edmonton's 2025 2 second round picks. So 3 of their top 6 defensemen, Drew, have been acquired by trade.
Seems like an impressive track record of success, I would argue, for the Utah general manager. So, again, just throwing that out there as something that can be done to improve your roster. In any event, the Jets look embarrassing here. They just absolutely get walked. All 5 members of the Utah Mammoth that are on the ice during this shift are moving the puck seam to seam around. Nyquist, Niederreiter, Jonathan Taves, Stanley, and Colin Miller are the 5 Jets players are on the ice, and there's no structure to what they're doing. They're just running around, trying desperately to catch up to Utah's puck movement. A beautiful puck movement by Utah. It ends with a great seam pass from Dursey right across the ice to Alex Kerfoot, who's in a shooter's position, one knee sort of low on the ice to get all he can on the puck, and he wires it past Connor Hellebuck. No chance for the Jets goaltender, but I mean, the coverage is just absolutely abysmal. It's like watching it's like watching kids play youth soccer where everyone just sort of swarms the ball and nobody really knows what they're doing, and then it takes years to sort of teach structure. The Winnipeg Jets have no structure on this play whatsoever, and as a result, when you're running around and you have no defensive responsibilities, or you abandon your defensive responsibility. Yeah, Timbits hockey would also be in the assessment, as Dallas Paul says here. That's what it looks like here for the Winnipeg Jets perspective. And Utah says, okay, thank you very much. We'll gladly take advantage of your lack of cohesiveness, and we'll make it 3-0.
Yeah, and it's Taves, Nyquist, and Niederreiter who are out there, 3 guys that are all struggling offensively. And You're right. I mean, like what I saw on this goal was the Jets are too deep. The Mammoth are whipping the puck around, and it's nice passing. And like these are skilled players. Like you said, Kerfoot's been out the majority of the season, but you remember Kerfoot has been a very effective player on all the teams he's been on.
Yeah.
Starting with Colorado. That's where he started off with. Or Toronto. Was it Toronto? I forget.
No, Colorado, I think, is where he started his career.
Colorado, yeah. But Kerfoot's carved out a nice career for himself. And so, I mean, this is nice passing. Sean Dursey, we talked about. He's been a nice acquisition coming over from the LA Kings.
Yeah.
And there's no chance for Connor Hellebuck. And like, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure the Jets were caught. That was towards the end of a shift. So, they were we'll give them a little bit of a break on that one, that they were stuck in their own zone a little bit. But again, like,
it's all the more important why you have to keep your structure. If you're stuck in your own zone and you're tired, and you're struggling, that's all the more important while you have to rely on the structure to bail you out in that instance. And so instead, they don't have any structure. They don't have any approach that would be, symptomatic or a sign of a team that is fully aware of what they need to do. It's just, you look at that and it's woeful defensive coverage by the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, it's woeful, and it's also a killer goal because now you're down 3 goals. And we've talked about in hockey the difference between a 2-goal lead and a 3-goal lead. And obviously the Jets come back, but at the time you're thinking, here we go again, right? Like this is we've seen this how many times where the Jets put themselves down 2 or 3 goals. And you're right. I mean, there's no doubt that when you look at, we're almost at the halfway point of the season. So if you want to, call it halfway or 30, let's just call it what it is, 35 games. The biggest 2 takeaways for me have been the fact that the Jets, have lost that defensive structure, that defensive dominance that they've had in previous years. And there's just a complete lack of secondary scoring. That's what stood out to me. And the special teams have not been good enough. Like the PK.
Aside from that, though, everything's going well.
Well, yeah. I mean, like Connor Hellebuck is still doing his job.
Sure.
Like, nobody's blaming Connor Hellebuck on any of these goals.
Nope.
And he gave his team a chance to win. He shut the door after this goal, and he didn't let any more goals in. But it's just not good enough. It's not good enough. And unless this team tightens up defensively, they're not going anywhere because they just don't score enough goals to outscore the mistakes they're making on the defensive side of the puck.
No question. 3-0 for Utah. Early in the third period, the Jets get on the board. The start of the comeback. I don't think any of us expected it as necessarily the start of the comeback, but it is Kyle Connor, his 16th of the season, his 300th career goal, which I'll get to in a second. It's a power play goal, something that is, of course, rare for him as well. Assist to Mark Scheifele and Gabe Vilardi. Gus Nyquist gets credit for providing a good screen on Karel Vejmelka of the Utah Mammoth, their goalie. Nice shot by Connor. It's, I like the approach by him. I think he should shoot more, frankly, while he's on the power play. And that's sometimes the Jets are a little guilty of looking for the perfect play rather than sometimes just getting a puck through. And Kyle Connor, oh, by the way, is a heck of a shooter and a heck of a goal scorer in this league. And that's why on the occasion of his 300th career NHL goal, which is an impressive accomplishment, we'll grant him the Wheatland Hockey Heads Up Hockey Play of the Game. Big thanks to our friends at Wheatland Hockey for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. Wheatland Hockey is a fresh approach to youth hockey and development, building skills, character, and excellence on and off the ice, offering development-focused, inclusive programs that build hockey skills while fostering confidence, leadership, and resilience. Something the Winnipeg Jets certainly need. They can get that courtesy of our friends at Wheatland Hockey. Big thanks to them for their support. But kudos to Kyle Connor getting a power play goal, only his second of calendar year 2025, or with a crazy, absolutely crazy, insane stat that is, given how prolific of a goal scorer he is, and his 300th career goal. He obviously got 301 a little bit later on in tonight's game, which we'll get to, but kudos to him for that and getting the Jets on the board in tonight's contest.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, to me, the Jets' power play at its best, right? Scheifele and Morrissey at the top, they're playing catch, and that's what they like to do. And they like to then go to Vilardi down low and then kind of, almost kind of use that as a distraction when they want to go to Kyle Connor. Just like the Washington Capitals want to go to Alex Ovechkin, the Winnipeg Jets want to go to Kyle Connor. So Scheifele and Morrissey, good puck movement there. And then obviously Scheifele finds him open, and like you mentioned, Drew Nyquist provides the screen. So just really good execution, and they needed that one. I mean, you go down 3-0 into the second period. I don't think the Jets are scoring 3 goals in the third period. I really don't. So that was a big goal for them just to get back into the game. But just as an aside, a huge accomplishment for Kyle Connor. Obviously, he's going to score a lot of goals. Like, honestly, but by the time his career's over, I wouldn't be surprised if he's closer to 600 goals. Yeah. The way, like,
the Jets are counting on that financially.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But he's a guy that's like, usually around the kind of 40 to 45 goals, right? And I don't think he's slowing down anytime soon. So a pretty amazing accomplishment for number 81.
Yeah, no question about it. 3-1 for the Winnipeg Jets at that point. The third period begins, and it certainly doesn't seem like there's going to be a comeback, given the way that third period started. I mean, Tanner Pearson takes a holding penalty, a second minor penalty of the game. He also took one late in the second period as well. Utah doesn't capitalize on that. But I mean, again, I'll be perfectly honest with you, all audience members, because we're nothing if not honest. I certainly didn't see a Winnipeg Jets comeback happening, especially in the last 5 minutes of tonight's game. But that's what happened, is that they scored 2 goals in 25 seconds. The first one, bang, bang, Dennis Bayak. The first one at the 15:23 mark. I mentioned Kyle Connor. It's his second of the game, his 17th of the year. Assist to Morrissey, assist to Scheifele. This is a goal scorer's goal. I mean, there's only a handful of players in this league that can score from that angle, and you're confident in setting them up to shoot from that angle. Because he's not parallel with the goal line. I mean, he's not at the goal line, rather, but he's only a couple feet away from the goal line, and he absolutely picks the corner like only a goal scorer can. Great setup by Josh Morrissey. Great job by Kyle Connor getting to that soft ice. Great shift by the Jets top line. Scheifele, Connor, Morrissey, the big good dogs are all out on the ice on this one. Velarde's on the ice as well. By the way, the Gus Nyquist first line center or first line winger experiment did not last long into
One period.
I think then it became Alex Iafallo again, and then Velarde, obviously, when the Jets were pressing for a tying goal. I think I can say with a fair degree of certainty, by the way, that the Velarde, Perfetti, Nemesnikov trio is not really going to do much as a unit, because did Perfetti play tonight? He was invisible.
Yeah, and that was somebody that we talked about on yesterday morning show, right? We talked about how is Perfetti going to react to being benched, and we were speculating, like, is that the first time that he's been scratched since? Like,
he played less than 10 minutes again. He had 9 minutes and 44 seconds. The lowest ice time of any Winnipeg Jets player in tonight's game was Cole Perfetti, 9:44, 0 shots on goal for the struggling Winnipeg Jets winger.
And that's a huge problem on this team. Absolutely huge problem, because we've talked about the secondary scoring, where Cole Perfetti was supposed to be a primary scorer.
Sure.
Right? Like he was not a guy that you were expecting to have 2 goals in 22 games or whatever it is. He was a guy that you were expecting to build on last year's 50-point season. And I'll mention it again. And this is a guy who's in a contract year. So he's hoping to get a big contract coming up, and it's not looking very good for him right now. But you're right, Drew. I mean, he was pretty invisible tonight.
Yeah.
And he started off the game with Nemesnikov and Velarde, and like you said, then Velarde went back up to the top line, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was Perfetti, Nemesnikov. Was it Perfetti, Nemesnikov, Niederreiter?
Iafallo. I mean, they bounced it around. Iafallo played some with the top line for some of that second period as well. I mean, and then when they were down,
Perfetti got demoted, and that's why he played less than 10 minutes again, right? So I mean, it's a huge. It's definitely not something I saw coming, and we talked to Kenny Weeb about this, like, the only thing I could see is that this ankle injury he's just not the same player. Like he's just not. He looks like, what he looks like, Drew. He looks like 20% of last year's Cole Perfetti.
Yeah.
And it's hurting this team, because they need him to be putting the puck in the net. They need him to be scoring goals and setting up goals. And right now he's not really doing anything when he's on the ice.
No, he's not doing anything, and it's getting to be hard to watch, to be perfectly honest. Again, I take no pleasure in having to criticize a player to the extent that we've had to criticize Cole Perfetti, but it's just the reality of the situation is that right now he is not contributing to the Winnipeg Jets, and he's not bettering the team, and he's not bettering himself.
No, and let's not forget, like, yes, you hate to bring up where a guy is drafted, because, like, we've talked to Craig Button about this so many times over the years. At the end of the day, once you're drafted, you're drafted. It doesn't really matter where you're drafted. But he was a 10th overall pick. And if you remember back to that 2020 draft, because obviously we were broadcasting that draft, people thought that was a steal to get him at number 10. He could have easily gone in the top 5 or top 6. So this is a guy that the expectations are huge for Perfetti. And right now, you're right. He is hard to watch. And all of us are hoping that he pulls out of this after the Christmas break and he's able to get back to his successful ways. But he's just not having much of an impact on the ice. And that's why Arneal's not playing him. And you have to ask yourself, really, like, why didn't this happen earlier?
Well, I understand trying to give a guy an opportunity to dig out of it. And, I know how high ankle sprain, and I know all that jazz, but you're right. Right now, he's just not, he's just not deserving of any additional ice time. He's not deserving of more than 10 minutes a game. You could argue he's maybe not deserving of those 10 minutes a game, but right now the team doesn't have any other options. So that's the struggles continue for Cole Perfetti. No player among the Winnipeg Jets probably needs more of a break and a time away and get to some away from the rink for a few days more than the Jets Cole Perfetti.
Absolutely.
The Jets do tie up the game, though. 25 seconds after Kyle Connor scored, Morgan Barron. Again, it's not going to do anything to reduce the number of people for calling for increased ice time for Morgan Barron. And it's a real hard play in the neutral zone that sets it up. He forces the turnover. Tanner Pearson collects the puck, and he gets it over to Barron, and Barron comes in all alone on Vejmelka, just like he did against Colorado on Wednesday night, or Friday night, rather. And he beats Vejmelka. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, out of a 3-1 game, the Jets have tied it up with 4 minutes and 12 seconds to go. Again, Morgan Barron's up to now 7 goals on the season. Again, Morgan Barron is, I just don't know what the downside is for giving him some additional ice time. He's scoring.
There's none, Drew.
Yeah.
There's absolutely none. And like you talk about, Cole Perfetti doesn't deserve to be in the top 6 right now, whereas Morgan Barron does deserve to be in the top 6 for a bottom 6 guy, right? So I look, we're going to keep banging on that drum. We've had Morgan Barron on the show before. This guy is, to me, the thing I love the most about Morgan Barron, in addition to the fact that he's from Nova Scotia, like Dan Robertson, is the fact that he gives you the most, like, he maxes out his what he's capable of.
An honest effort, night in, night out.
Yes. Like, Morgan Barron he's not Kyle Connor. He's not Mark Scheifele, but he hustles. He works his ass off. And this is a nice goal, like you said. It starts in the neutral zone. And Tanner Pearson makes a nice little play. Like, he identifies that Morgan Barron is streaking to the net. And it's just another nice goal. And, Morgan Barron has been coming up huge. And he gives you, like we said, he gives you an honest effort every time he's on the ice. And to be honest with you, the Jets would have many more wins on the season if they had other players that played like Morgan Barron. So, yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful goal here to tie the game up. And I don't think, by the way, Drew, that we're saying that, Morgan Barron is the solution to second line center. We're talking about right now on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Why not give him a chance, right? Like, I don't think anybody's going to say on a Stanley Cup contender, Morgan Barron is the second line center. Like,
right.
All due respect to Morgan Barron, that's not what we're saying. I mean, he is more of a third, fourth line guy.
But when you don't have any other solutions right now, go with the hot hand.
Go with the hot hand and maybe get Cole Perfetti going.
Something. You got to try something. This is, clearly whatever else you've thrown at the wall hasn't worked in that manner. So you might as well try something. To the Jets' credit, as we said, they battle back. The game goes into overtime. That was a great example of two teams in the last 4 minutes of this game after the Jets tied it up that were more than content for each team to get to overtime. Neither team wanted to make any mistakes. The Jets start overtime with a very curious lineup. I think that would be the nicest way of putting it, going with Velarde and Adam Lowry and Neil Pionk on the ice for the Winnipeg Jets. It did
and
not
part
work.
Part of that reason, Drew, is because the Scheifele line ended the game. Just wanted to get that
absolutely,
in there.
no question about it. And here's in fact Mike
ended
McIntyre.
the third period. Third period is, I shouldn't say ended the game. Scheifele's line ended the third period. That's what I meant to say.
So here's what Mike McIntyre, who's was in Utah tonight, he asked Scott Arniel about that. Here's what the Jets head coach, I'm paraphrasing. He said part of it was because Scheifele and Connor had been playing so much in the final minutes. He wanted to give them a bit of a breather to start. The Jets hoped for a face-off win and possession, and then they would be able to deploy Scheifele and Connor after that. Scott Arniel admitted the obvious. It backfired. Clearly did not work to the Winnipeg Jets' advantage, trying to sort of maybe be a bit too cute, I would say, maybe too cute by half. And I mean, again, I hate how Adam Lowry plays this play in the overtime period. So it takes the Utah Mammoth all of 13 seconds. Sergachev gets the secondary assist. Dylan Guenther gets the primary assist. Clayton Keller gets the game-winning goal. It's just very poorly played by Adam Lowry in particular, who goes for a big hit in the neutral zone after Utah collects the opening faceoff. Again, Lowry just whiffs on Dylan Guenther completely, and then it's a 2-on-1, and Guenther gets it over to Clayton Keller, and Keller with a real nice shot. There was not a lot of space to beat Connor Hellebuyck there, but he managed to beat him with the shot. But Adam Lowry's it's just not a good enough approach. I'm not going to say effort, because I don't think it's an effort related thing, but the approach that he takes in trying to, he just whiffs. It's just a whiff in neutral ice.
And what you have to do there is you have to slow him down. You had to do something there to slow him down. It's Dylan Guenther who was who's obviously leading the Mammoth in goals. Great player. But yeah, he basically just walks him. He walks around him, and that creates a 2-on-1, right? So like you said, this is not like a goal that was scored 2 minutes into the overtime. This is 13 seconds. This is the opening shift of overtime, and the Jets look flat-footed. They look slow, and I know a lot of people are
by Scott Arniel.
Well,
I mean, I understand sort of where the perspective that he's going with. I understand sort of what his thinking is to some extent, but again, you need 2 points. You can't be cute in that situation. You need to go with your horses. And, if your horses run out of gas in the last minute of overtime, so be it. You've at least started with them. You tried to be too cute to give them a little extra time. Doug, I think, makes a valid point that, Adam Lowry and the hip, he can't turn. Maybe he doesn't have the hip mobility and the agility that he's used to having because of the injury, which is definitely, I think, plausible. I think there's something to be said for that as a theory for Adam Lowry's struggles, is that he's continuing to rehab and get back into full health after the off-season surgery. Even more reason why you can't put him out in a situation that 3-on-3 is all about skating. 3-on-3 is all about mobility. 3-on-3 is all about agility. 3-on-3 is all about being able to just keep up with your opponent, given how much room there is on the ice there. Adam Lowry was almost put into a position to fail to some extent with Scott Arniel's decision on that play. I would offer as a commentary.
Well, yeah, and our buddy El Cheverino makes a good point. Scott Arniel had a timeout. He could have used a timeout. And look, again, the game's over. The Jets lost the game. They obviously got a point, so that's better than not getting any points. But it was a curious when you think about who you're in when you need these points desperately, the extra point, I should say, when you need the extra point desperately, that's not who you expect to be out on the ice.
Right.
And so Scott Arniel obviously has his reasons, but it backfired. It was the wrong choice. He put the wrong players on the ice, and a goal in 13 seconds was the result.
Well, I find it sort of funny. Go back to that overtime loss to Ottawa on Monday of this week. Remember Gabe Vilardi, and that was a longer overtime period. Gabe Vilardi didn't touch the ice once, and now all of a sudden he's starting overtime in this one. I mean, it's there just seems to be a bit of a disconnect in how the Winnipeg Jets are approaching overtime.
It's easy to say, Drew, to put Morgan Barron out there, but yeah, if I'm the coach of this team, which I will never be, I'm starting Morgan Barron. If you're not putting, look, the guys that the 3 players that are usually out there, we know who they are. They're usually Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor, Josh Morrissey. If you're not going with those 3 players, like if you're going with clearly a different line, then I'm putting Morgan Barron out there.
Reward a guy who's played well.
It's pretty simple to me.
Well, the Winnipeg Jets drop another decision, this time 4-3 in overtime to the Utah Mammoth. They were game and fighting back from 3-0 down, but ultimately they need 2 points in the win column, not just one, especially when the team that they're chasing, the Utah Mammoth, get that extra point in tonight's contest. When we come back on the Illegal Curve post-game show, more on tonight's Winnipeg Jets defeat, more from Ezzy and yours truly, and then we will say goodbye to everyone for about 5 days before we return next Saturday. So stay with us. Smash the like button while we go to break. It's the Illegal Curve post-game show live on the Illegal Curve YouTube channel.
I want to thank you for not betting with Play Now and choosing our illegal gambling site instead.
Because we couldn't afford things like this without your money.
So much of your money.
Now you might have questions like,
do our profits benefit your community?
No.
or bet with Play Now, Manitoba's local legal and secure gambling site.
Dining, entertainment, parking, and convenience, all in one spot. City Place is located in the heart of downtown Winnipeg, attached to the Canada Life Centre. Whether you're working, living, or out for a night in the downtown, make City Place your go-to destination before or after the fun finds you. Lunchtime, game time, anytime. Visit City Place at 333 St. Mary Avenue, next to Canada Life Centre.
Boys, I've made an important life decision, and I need your support.
Oh, boy.
I've decided to get a grill.
You mean a barbecue grill for cooking? Like, that's not an important life decision, Ezzy.
No. A grill for my teeth.
A grill for your teeth? Do I even want to know why you're doing this?
It's simple, really. Every time I go to Holt Dental, I get treated so very well by Dr. John and his team that I need to keep finding additional reasons to go back. I rely on Holt Dental for all of my dental needs, and they do it all, from regular cleanings to cosmetic dentistry. Plus, they have free parking at their front door, and you know how much I love my convenient parking.
For all your dental needs, Illegal Curve recommends Holt Dental, conveniently located on Taylor Avenue near Grant Park Mall. For more information, visit them online at holtdental.ca.
Guys, big news. You know how I'm always misplacing my cool stuff? Well, Big Daddy has a new hobby, labeling.
Labeling is your new hobby.
You got it. Ever since I discovered Label Daddy's washable labels, I just can't stop labeling. I'm labeling water bottles, hockey sticks, cereal boxes, roast chickens, team jerseys. Everything deserves a label.
I can think of a label or two for you.
Best part is that Label Daddy is the only label company officially licensed by the NHL. So my labels are personalized and can have the Jets logo on them. Just search NHL on the Label Daddy website.
For almost 2 decades, Label Daddy has been helping people to not lose their stuff. It's the most affordable insurance policy around.
For customized, washable, peel and stick labels with no ironing or sewing required, visit labeldaddy.com and search NHL for the label pack belonging to your favorite team.
For over 40 years, Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club has been Winnipeg's home for stand-up comedy. Renowned in the comedy world as a must-play venue, Rumors has recently been named Canada's top comedy club and a top 5 comedy club in North America. From birthday parties to date nights to fundraisers, wedding socials, and everything in between, Rumors is your destination for the best live entertainment Winnipeg has to offer. For information on upcoming shows, Rumors' incredible promotions, and to purchase show tickets, visit rumorscomedyclub.com.
At Boston Pizza, a fast lunch doesn't have to mean fast food. Now you can get a $15 lunch served in just 20 minutes, including your choice of a main, side, and drink. That's right, lunch for $15 at your local Boston Pizza.
"20 minutes before the top of the hour, welcome back to the Illegal Curve post-game show. Drew Mandel, Ezra Ginsburg with you one final time before we depart for the Christmas break. It's Christmas break for us too. We'll be back on Saturday, of course, as the Jets and the Minnesota Wild will do battle. The Jets will return to action, looking to put this all behind them and try and find a better way to start the new year, end 2025, start 2026, and pull themselves out of the tailspin that they are in and try and get back onto the winning side of the ledger, as I like to say. Adam Lowry, speaking post-game, takes full blame for how that overtime period went. Speaking to Mike McIntyre, how, there is accountability, at least from the Winnipeg Jets captain. I'll give him credit for that. He does say that is on me. The way that the overtime period ended as quickly as it did. That's on me, is what the Jets captain said to Mike McIntyre post-game regarding the overtime period.
That's not surprising, Drew, right?
Adam Lowry's never not been accountable for his actions.
No, he's always accountable, and he just like he was accountable. We talked about Dan Robertson interviewed him in the first period, and Adam Lowry. I mean, first off, he's one of the most well-spoken players on the team, not just because he's the captain. He just is. He has been. Previous to being the captain, he was one of the most well-spoken players on the team, and he said we weren't good enough in the first period, and just like he wasn't good enough on that overtime goal. So not surprised to hear that. I like hearing that because, like you said, it shows accountability. And like you said, Drew, we're at the point where this team just needs a break. Like, these guys need to go back to their home province, their home state, their home country, or go somewhere hot. I imagine some of these guys are going to Mexico or Cuba or Hawaii, places like that. So they just need a little time off, and they need to come back and they need to string some wins together, because like you said, they've got Minnesota and Edmonton, 2 pretty good teams coming up right off the bat when you come back, and You got to win both of those games, not just one of them. You got to win both of them. It's the time is now to put together a winning streak. That's for sure.
Yeah, to your point, you come back, you come back, and it's not like you're coming back and you're easing your way back into the schedule. You have 4 games between December 27th and New Year's Day for the Winnipeg Jets. So it's, straight right back into it. And you have the Wild, a team you're battling. You have the Oilers, a team that's now climbed their way out of the doldrums. You have the Toronto Maple Leafs, a team that is much like the Winnipeg Jets, just absolutely going through immense struggles. The Maple Leafs lose to the Dallas Stars tonight 5-1. So things are bad in Toronto as well.
And apparently, Pete DeBoer. There's lots of rumors that Pete DeBoer's coming in. I mean, I don't think Pete DeBoer's been given enough chances with enough NHL teams. I think what is this? What is this going to be, his 6th or 7th team, Drew? This is a lot. He's been around the block.
Yeah, you know what they say about him. He's usually a good coach to get you to the conference finals or the second round and no further than that.
Right.
But yeah, things are bad in Toronto, and the Jets are also going to Detroit before they spend New Year's Eve in Detroit, and then for whatever reason they have a back-to-back: Detroit on New Year's Eve and then Toronto on New Year's Day. And 3 of those 4 teams are definitely in a playoff spot. So the Winnipeg Jets don't have any time whatsoever to waste at all if they're going to get themselves back into a playoff position or feel good about themselves with those 4 games starting next Saturday between the Winnipeg Jets and the Minnesota Wild on home ice. We'll look forward to that one. We'll look forward to a few days off where we can all spend it with our loved ones. We hope everybody that's watching and chatting and commenting and listening on the podcast and everything else is enjoying gets to enjoy some time with their loved ones this holiday season. Whatever you do, we want you to do it safely. That's the first and foremost, because we need you back here on the 27th. We need you back here to talk more about the Winnipeg Jets, pro or con, moving forward. We all need you to be here. So we do appreciate that, and make sure whatever you're doing it safely. Big thank you to all of our sponsors. They're key to this whole operation. That's our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club. If you're looking for a great place to spend New Year's Eve, Rumors has 2 shows. Check them out online, rumorscomedyclub.com. Tickets are going quickly. Play now. They're the title sponsor. Holt Dental. Of course, if you have a little too many sweets this holiday season, check out Holt Dental. They'll be able to help you with your teeth, and maybe you were gifted a brand new grill for Christmas and the Hanukkah season. Holt Dental will, I'm sure, put your grill on your teeth for you, like they did for Ezzy, City Place, Wheatland Hockey, Boston Pizza. And then, of course, if you do get that new grill, you'll need to put a label on it in case you lose track of your grill. So Label Daddy is where you should get your label to put on your new grill. I think I covered it all there. As they support these fine businesses,
you're good,
because of their continued support of Illegal Curve Hockey. Thanks to all of you. Mr. Ginsburg, thank you. All the best. We'll see you in a few days' time.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll chat between now and then anyways.
Happy holidays, all the best. Yeah. I mean, this break is just a time for the 2 of us to get some time away from each other as well, right, Drew? So
no question about it. It's it's well earned by everybody. Thanks, folks, for joining us. Plenty of post game still to come on illegalcurve.com. For Ezra Ginsburg, I am your host, Drew Mandel. Be well, everybody. We'll see you next Saturday. Thanks all. This has been the Illegal Curve post game show.